Imagine you're hiking through the dense forests of Yellowstone National Park, the crisp air filling your lungs as you navigate the winding trails. As the sun sets, you hear the distant howls of a wolf pack, sending shivers down your spine. My friend John once found himself in this very scenario, only to encounter a lone wolf that seemed oddly fixated on him, a moment that left him pondering the age-old question, why do wolves appear to target men more aggressively than women? Stay with us as we delve into the fascinating world of wolves, exploring the historical, biological, and cultural reasons behind this intriguing phenomenon. By the end of this video, you'll have a deeper understanding of these majestic creatures and the subtle dynamics of their interactions with humans. Wolves' behavior and social structure. To understand why wolves might behave differently towards men and women, we need to dive into their social structure and behavior. Wolves live in packs, which are complex social units often led by an alpha pair. These packs are not just family groups but are structured with a clear hierarchy that dictates the roles and responsibilities of each member. Wolves exhibit a variety of behaviors that are crucial for the survival and cohesion of the pack. These include hunting strategies, territory defense, and the rearing of pups. Typically, the alpha pair, which is usually the only breeding pair in the pack, leads the hunts and makes key decisions. The rest of the pack supports these efforts, ensuring that everyone in the pack gets fed and that their territory is protected. Wolves communicate through vocalizations, body language, and scent marking. Howling, for instance, serves multiple purposes. It strengthens social bonds within the pack, helps to coordinate hunts, and warns rival packs to keep their distance. Scent marking delineates territory and conveys messages about an individual's status or reproductive availability. Wolves and gender. An interesting aspect of wolf behavior is the differential treatment based on gender. Within a pack, males and females may assume different roles. Males are often the primary hunters and protectors, while females, particularly those that are pregnant or nursing, stay closer to the den to care for the young. This division of labor could offer insights into their interactions with humans. Interactions with humans. Historical accounts and recent studies suggest that wolves might perceive men as more of a threat than women. This could be rooted in their roles as hunters and protectors. Men, often seen carrying weapons or tools, may appear more dangerous to wolves. On the other hand, women, who are statistically less likely to be perceived as direct threats, might trigger a different, less aggressive response. 4. Human-wolf conflicts, a gendered perspective. Throughout history, wolves and humans have clashed, often with men at the forefront of these conflicts. Early settlers in North America viewed wolves as pests that threatened livestock and competed for game. As a result, men, who were primarily responsible for hunting and protecting their communities, were the ones who most frequently engaged in conflicts with wolves. Historical context. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, government policies even encouraged the eradication of wolves through bounties. Men were typically the ones who responded to these calls, leading to numerous accounts of wolf hunts and extermination campaigns. These historical interactions have likely influenced the wolves' perception of humans, particularly men, as threats. Modern-day conflicts. Even today, men are more likely to be involved in activities that bring them into closer contact with wolves, such as hunting, ranching, and wildlife management. This continued pattern of interaction may reinforce the wolves' wariness or aggression towards men. 5. Cultural depictions of wolves and gender. Cultural narratives have long depicted wolves in specific ways, often casting them as villains or symbols of wildness and danger. These portrayals can shape public perceptions and influence how we think wolves perceive us. In many cultures, wolves have been portrayed as cunning and dangerous predators. Fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood and The Three Little Pigs paint wolves as villains. These stories often highlight the predator-prey relationship, with wolves preying on the weak or innocent, reinforcing fears and negative stereotypes. Modern media continues to shape our perceptions of wolves. Movies and books often depict wolves as either noble creatures of the wild or as threats to human safety. Interestingly, these narratives sometimes differ by gender. For instance, stories where men are the protagonists often portray wolves as formidable adversaries, while stories with female protagonists sometimes highlight a more complex or sympathetic view of wolves. These cultural depictions can influence how men and women perceive wolves. And, in turn, how they behave around them. Men, influenced by stories of wolves as dangerous foes, might approach wolves with more caution or aggression, while women might be more inclined to see wolves as misunderstood creatures deserving of protection. Biological reasons for wolves' behavior towards men and women. To understand the biological underpinnings of wolves' behavior towards men and women, we must consider the sensory and cognitive abilities of wolves. Sensory perception. Wolves have highly developed senses of smell, hearing, and sight. These senses allow them to detect subtle differences in human behavior, physiology, and even pheromones. It's plausible that wolves can distinguish between men and women based on scent and auditory cues. Men's generally larger size, deeper voices, and different pheromone profiles might signal a potential threat more so than women's. Cognitive abilities. Wolves are intelligent and capable of learning from their experiences. If wolves repeatedly encounter men as threats, either through direct confrontations or hunting, they may generalize this experience, leading to a conditioned response of wariness or aggression towards men. Hormonal influences. Another interesting factor could be hormonal differences. Studies on various animals have shown that they can sense and react to human hormonal states. For example, wolves might be able to detect testosterone levels, which are generally higher in men and associated with aggression and dominance. This detection could trigger a defensive or aggressive response in wolves. The Yellowstone Incident. In 1995, wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park, leading to several interactions between wolves and park rangers, most of whom were men. One notable incident involved a ranger who was charged by a wolf while conducting a survey. The ranger's stance, direct eye contact, and approach might have been perceived as a threat, triggering the wolf's defensive behavior. The Alaskan Encounter. In rural Alaska, a hunter reported being followed by a pack of wolves for several miles. The hunter, a man, was carrying a rifle and had recently made a successful kill. The wolves, likely attracted by the scent of the kill, were not overtly aggressive but maintained a cautious distance. The hunter's presence and the scent of blood may have prompted the wolves to follow him, assessing the situation as a potential opportunity or threat. These case studies suggest that wolves' interactions with men often involve elements of perceived threat or competition. The presence of weapons, direct eye contact, and assertive behavior might contribute to these interactions. Wolves' interactions with women. The Minnesota Observation. In Minnesota, a woman conducting wildlife research reported a curious but non-threatening encounter with a wolf pack. She noted that the wolves seemed more interested in observing her than in engaging aggressively. Her calm demeanor and lack of direct eye contact may have signaled to the wolves that she was not a threat. The Oregon Hiker. A woman hiking in Oregon had a memorable encounter with a lone wolf. The wolf approached her cautiously but showed no signs of aggression. The woman remained still and allowed the wolf to sniff her backpack before it retreated into the forest. Her non-confrontational behavior likely contributed to the peaceful nature of the encounter. These case studies indicate that wolves' interactions with women might be characterized by curiosity rather than aggression. The absence of perceived threats or assertive behavior could lead to more neutral or even positive encounters. 9. Scientific studies on wolves' perception of men and women. Study 1. Behavioral responses to human genders. A study conducted in a wildlife reserve observed wolves' behavioral responses to men and women who entered their territory. The researchers found that wolves were more likely to exhibit signs of stress and defensive behaviors, such as growling or retreating, when men entered their space compared to when women did. This study suggested that wolves might associate men with potential threats more than women, potentially due to past experiences and the general physical differences between the genders. Olfactory and auditory cues. Research has shown that wolves have a keen sense of smell and can distinguish between various human scents. A study examining how wolves reacted to clothing worn by men and women found that wolves spent more time sniffing and showing cautious behavior around clothing worn by men. Additionally, wolves were more likely to respond to recordings of male voices with alertness or defensive postures compared to recordings of female voices. Hormonal influences on perception. Another study explored how wolves might react to human hormonal differences. Researchers exposed wolves to the scent of testosterone and estrogen. Wolves showed more cautious and defensive behaviors when exposed to testosterone, which is typically higher in men. This finding suggests that wolves' perception of humans might be influenced by the hormonal cues they can detect, potentially leading to different behaviors towards men and women. Implications for human-wolf interactions and conservation. Understanding the different ways wolves perceive men and women has important implications for managing human-wolf interactions and promoting conservation efforts. Management strategies. Wildlife managers and conservationists can use this knowledge to develop strategies that minimize conflicts. For example, men working in wolf territories might be advised to avoid behaviors that wolves perceive as threatening, such as making direct eye contact or moving abruptly. Educating both men and women on how to safely coexist with wolves can reduce negative encounters and foster a more harmonious relationship between humans and these predators. Conservation programs. Conservation programs can benefit from understanding these gender-based differences. Programs aimed at reintroducing wolves or protecting their habitats might consider involving more women in fieldwork and community outreach efforts, as their interactions with wolves may be less likely to trigger defensive behaviors. Additionally, public education campaigns can address misconceptions and promote a balanced view of wolves, highlighting the importance of both men and women in conservation efforts. Policy development. Policies aimed at wolf conservation can incorporate findings from behavioral studies to create guidelines that protect both humans and wolves. For instance, policies could mandate training for field personnel that includes best practices for interacting with wolves, taking into account the different responses wolves may have to men and women. 11. Conclusion: the complex dynamics between wolves and humans. Wolves' interactions with humans are shaped by a complex interplay of behavioral, sensory, and cultural factors. Historical conflicts, gender-specific behaviors, and biological differences all contribute to how wolves perceive and react to men and women. Wolves live in highly structured social packs, with behaviors designed to ensure survival and cohesion. Historical and modern conflicts between wolves and humans often involve men, who traditionally take on roles of hunters and protectors. Cultural narratives and media portrayals influence public perceptions of wolves and may shape human behavior towards them. Biological factors, including sensory perceptions and hormonal cues, play a significant role in how wolves interact with men and women. Scientific studies have demonstrated that wolves are more likely to exhibit defensive or cautious behaviors towards men. Future directions. Further research is needed to deepen our understanding of these dynamics. Longitudinal studies that track human-wolf interactions over time could provide more insights into how wolves' perceptions evolve and how conservation strategies can be optimized. Additionally, exploring the roles of individual wolves within packs and how they interact with humans of different genders can reveal more about the social complexity of these animals. By recognizing and respecting the nuanced ways wolves perceive humans, we can foster a coexistence that benefits both species, ensuring that wolves continue to thrive in their natural habitats while minimizing conflicts with human communities. The complex dynamics between wolves and humans. Historical context. The relationship between wolves and humans has been fraught with tension and conflict, dating back to when humans first began domesticating livestock. In many cultures, wolves were seen as a threat to survival, leading to widespread hunting and culling efforts. Men, traditionally tasked with protecting livestock and communities, often became the primary antagonists in these conflicts. Modern conflicts. Despite conservation efforts, modern conflicts still arise, particularly in rural areas where livestock farming is prevalent. Men, often farmers or ranchers, are more likely to encounter wolves during activities such as tending to livestock or patrolling property boundaries. These interactions can result in defensive or aggressive behaviors from wolves, who may perceive men as a direct threat to their territory and resources. Gender-specific behaviors and wolves' reactions. Men's behaviors. Men, typically larger and more physically imposing, may unknowingly exhibit behaviors that wolves interpret as threatening. Actions such as standing tall, making direct eye contact, or moving quickly can be perceived as dominance or aggression. Additionally, men are more likely to carry firearms or other weapons, further heightening wolves' defensive responses. Women's behaviors. Women, often smaller in stature and displaying less dominant body language, may pose less of a perceived threat to wolves. Women are more likely to engage in less confrontational behaviors, such as speaking softly or avoiding direct eye contact, which can result in calmer interactions with wolves. This difference in behavior can lead to wolves responding more passively towards women. Cultural narratives and media influence. Literature and folklore. Wolves have been depicted in literature and folklore as both noble and fearsome creatures. In many stories, men are portrayed as the hunters or heroes who protect their communities from wolves. These narratives reinforce the perception of men as adversaries of wolves, while women are often depicted as more compassionate and nurturing towards animals. Modern media. Movies, television shows, and news reports frequently portray wolves in a negative light, emphasizing attacks on livestock or humans. These portrayals can shape public perception and behavior towards wolves, often leading to fear and hostility. Conversely, documentaries and educational programs that highlight the social structure and intelligence of wolves can foster a more positive and understanding attitude, particularly among women viewers. Biological factors influencing wolves' perception. Sensory perception. Wolves have highly developed senses of smell and hearing, allowing them to detect subtle differences in human scents and sounds. Men typically produce stronger and more distinct body odors due to higher levels of testosterone and physical activity, which wolves can detect. Similarly, the deeper and louder voices of men can be perceived as more threatening compared to the softer tones of women. Hormonal cues. Hormonal differences between men and women can also influence wolves' reactions. Testosterone, associated with aggression and dominance, is present in higher levels in men. Wolves may instinctively react more defensively to the scent of testosterone, associating it with potential threats. Conversely, estrogen, more prevalent in women, may not trigger the same defensive responses in wolves. Scientific studies on wolves' perception of men and women. Behavioral observations. Studies observing wolves in controlled environments have shown that wolves exhibit more stress behaviors, such as increased pacing or vocalization, when approached by men compared to women. These behaviors indicate that wolves perceive men as more threatening, likely due to past negative experiences or inherent biological responses. Olfactory experiments. Experiments using clothing worn by men and women have demonstrated that wolves spend more time investigating and exhibiting caution around items associated with men. This suggests that wolves can distinguish between genders based on scent alone, and their cautious behavior indicates a perceived threat. Auditory studies. Research involving recordings of male and female voices found that wolves were more alert and defensive when hearing male voices. This heightened response to male voices reinforces the idea that wolves associate men with potential danger. Implications for human-wolf interactions and conservation. Conflict mitigation. Understanding wolves' differing responses to men and women can help develop better strategies for mitigating conflicts. For example, conservation efforts might involve training men to adopt less threatening behaviors when working in wolf territories. Encouraging softer speech and avoiding direct eye contact can reduce defensive reactions from wolves. Educational initiatives. Public education campaigns can play a crucial role in changing perceptions and behaviors towards wolves. Highlighting the importance of wolves in the ecosystem and promoting coexistence strategies can foster a more harmonious relationship between humans and wolves. These initiatives can particularly target rural communities where interactions with wolves are more frequent. Conservation programs and policy development. Fieldwork strategies. Conservation programs that involve fieldwork in wolf habitats might benefit from involving more women in on-the-ground activities. Since wolves exhibit less defensive behavior towards women, female fieldworkers might have more success in observing and interacting with wolves without causing stress or aggression. Community outreach. Effective conservation policies should include community outreach and education components that address gender-specific interactions with wolves. By promoting understanding and cooperation, these programs can reduce negative encounters and support wolf conservation efforts. Policy recommendations. Policymakers can use research findings to develop guidelines that protect both humans and wolves. For instance, guidelines might include training for wildlife managers and community members on how to safely interact with wolves, taking into account gender-specific behaviors and responses. Future research directions. Longitudinal studies. Long-term studies tracking human-wolf interactions over extended periods can provide deeper insights into how wolves' perceptions of men and women evolve. Understanding these dynamics over time can help refine conservation strategies and improve coexistence efforts. Social dynamics of wolves. Further research into the social dynamics within wolf packs can reveal how individual wolves' roles influence their interactions with humans. Studying alpha wolves, for example, might provide more nuanced understanding of how leadership and hierarchy affect responses to men and women. Enhancing coexistence through education and awareness. Public education. Increasing public awareness about the importance of wolves in the ecosystem and promoting positive interactions can help reduce fear and hostility. Educational programs that highlight the role of wolves in maintaining ecological balance can foster appreciation and support for conservation efforts. Community engagement. Engaging local communities in conservation activities and decision-making processes can lead to more effective and sustainable outcomes. By involving both men and women in these efforts, conservation programs can leverage diverse perspectives and experiences to address challenges and find solutions. Conclusion: the path forward. While wolves' interactions with humans are influenced by a complex array of factors, understanding and addressing these dynamics can pave the way for more effective conservation efforts. By recognizing the unique ways wolves perceive men and women, we can develop strategies that promote coexistence and ensure the survival of these magnificent creatures. Sure, let's dive deeper into the complex relationship between wolves and humans, focusing more on practical aspects and real-world applications of this knowledge. Here's an extended analysis with additional details. Practical guidelines for farmers and ranchers. Non-lethal deterrence. Farmers and ranchers can use various non-lethal methods to protect livestock from wolves. These include installing electric fences, using guard animals such as dogs or llamas, and implementing fladry, lines of flags that flutter in the wind. These measures can effectively deter wolves without causing harm and are often more accepted by the public than lethal control methods. Behavioral training. Training programs for farmers and ranchers can focus on minimizing behaviors that wolves perceive as threatening. For instance, approaching livestock calmly and avoiding sudden movements can reduce the likelihood of wolf attacks. Additionally, understanding wolf behavior can help farmers recognize early signs of wolf presence and take proactive measures. Community-based conservation efforts. Local involvement. Community-based conservation programs that involve local residents in decision-making processes tend to be more successful. These programs can include workshops and training sessions that educate people about wolves and teach them how to coexist peacefully. By involving the community, conservation efforts gain local support and can be tailored to specific regional needs. Conflict resolution. Establishing conflict resolution teams that include local stakeholders, wildlife experts, and government representatives can help address issues as they arise. These teams can mediate disputes, propose practical solutions, and ensure that the interests of both humans and wolves are considered. Role of technology in human-wolf coexistence. GPS tracking. Using GPS collars on wolves allows researchers to monitor their movements and identify patterns. This data can be shared with farmers and ranchers to help them avoid high-risk areas during times when wolves are most active. Real-time alerts can also warn of approaching wolves, allowing for timely intervention. Drones and remote sensing. Drones equipped with cameras and sensors can be used to monitor wolf populations and track their movements without disturbing them. Remote sensing technology can also help identify changes in wolf habitat, such as deforestation or human encroachment, enabling conservationists to take early action. Education and outreach programs. School programs. Incorporating wolf education into school curricula can help foster a new generation that understands and respects wildlife. Programs can include field trips, interactive learning modules, and guest speakers who are experts in wolf behavior and conservation. Public campaigns. Public awareness campaigns can use various media platforms to disseminate information about the importance of wolves in ecosystems. Social media, documentaries, and public service announcements can highlight successful coexistence stories and encourage positive attitudes towards wolves. Legal and policy frameworks. Protective legislation. Effective conservation requires strong legal protections for wolves. Governments can enact laws that protect wolf habitats, regulate hunting, and provide compensation for livestock losses due to wolf predation. Ensuring that these laws are enforced is crucial for their success. International cooperation. Wolves often roam across national borders, making international cooperation essential. Countries can collaborate on cross-border conservation initiatives, share research data, and develop standardized policies to protect wolf populations. Case studies of successful coexistence. Yellowstone National Park, USA. The reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone has had profound ecological benefits, including the restoration of vegetation and increased biodiversity. Local communities have adapted by using non-lethal deterrents and participating in wolf tourism, which has become a significant source of income. Sweden. Sweden has implemented a comprehensive wolf management plan that includes population monitoring, compensation schemes for livestock losses, and public involvement in decision-making. This balanced approach has helped maintain a stable wolf population while addressing human concerns. Addressing economic concerns. Compensation programs. Compensation programs can mitigate the economic impact of wolf predation on livestock. By promptly compensating farmers for their losses, these programs can reduce hostility towards wolves and encourage the adoption of coexistence strategies. Ecotourism. Promoting ecotourism focused on wolf watching can provide economic incentives for local communities to support wolf conservation. Tour operators can offer guided tours that educate tourists about wolves and their role in the ecosystem, creating a new revenue stream for rural areas. Psychological and sociocultural factors. Changing attitudes. Addressing deep-seated fears and misconceptions about wolves requires changing attitudes at a societal level. Cultural initiatives, such as storytelling, art, and community events, can help shift perceptions and build a more positive image of wolves. Mental health support. In areas with frequent human-wolf conflicts, providing mental health support for affected individuals can be beneficial. Stress and anxiety related to livestock loss or fear of wolf attacks can impact mental well-being, and counseling services can help address these issues. Future research priorities. Genetic studies. Researching the genetic diversity of wolf populations can provide insights into their health and adaptability. Understanding genetic variations can help in developing effective conservation strategies and managing inbreeding risks. Climate change impact. Studying the impact of climate change on wolf habitats and prey availability is crucial. As climate patterns shift, wolves may be forced to alter their ranges, leading to new challenges for conservation and human-wolf interactions. A holistic approach. A holistic approach to wolf conservation recognizes the interconnectedness of ecological, social, and economic factors. By addressing the unique ways wolves perceive and interact with men and women, we can develop comprehensive strategies that promote coexistence and ensure the survival of these keystone predators. We all have a role to play in wolf conservation. Whether through supporting conservation organizations, advocating for protective legislation, or simply educating ourselves and others about wolves, each action contributes to a larger effort to create a world where humans and wolves can thrive together. How to keep wolves away from your farmland. Ever found yourself staring at the horizon, wondering if those distant shapes are wolves eyeing your livestock? Imagine this: it's a chilly dawn, and you step out onto your farmland, the mist still clinging to the ground. You've spent countless hours, sweat, and resources nurturing your livestock and crops, only to find that a pack of wolves has been lurking around, threatening your hard work. This isn't just a scene from a movie, it's a reality for many farmers across the globe. I remember the first time I faced this issue, feeling both helpless and determined to find a solution. That's why today, we're diving deep into practical, effective, and humane strategies to keep wolves away from your farmland. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the knowledge and tools to protect your livelihood. So stick around, because every farmer deserves peace of mind knowing their land is safe. Understanding wolf behavior. To effectively keep wolves away from your farmland, it's crucial to understand their behavior. This insight allows you to anticipate their actions and implement the most effective deterrent strategies. Basic wolf behavior and hunting patterns. Wolves are social animals that live and hunt in packs, usually consisting of a dominant breeding pair and their offspring. These packs have a structured hierarchy, with the alpha pair leading the group. Wolves are territorial, and they use vocalizations, scent marking, and physical presence to establish and defend their territory. Wolves are primarily nocturnal hunters, meaning they are most active during the night and early morning hours. They are opportunistic predators with a diet that primarily consists of ungulates, like deer and elk, but they will also hunt smaller mammals, birds, and sometimes scavenge on carrion. When natural prey is scarce, wolves may turn to livestock, making farms an attractive target. How wolves communicate and establish territory. Communication among wolves is sophisticated and includes vocalizations such as howling, barking, and whimpering, as well as body language and scent marking. Howling serves multiple purposes: it strengthens social bonds within the pack, coordinates movements, and communicates with other packs to maintain territorial boundaries. Scent marking is another critical aspect of wolf behavior. Wolves use urine and feces to mark their territory, which signals to other wolves that an area is occupied and should be avoided. This territoriality can sometimes work to your advantage, as it means wolves are less likely to venture into areas heavily marked by humans or other predators. Hunting strategies and pack dynamics. Wolves are highly strategic hunters. They use their keen sense of smell, acute hearing, and excellent vision to locate and track prey. A typical hunting sequence involves stalking their prey, testing it for signs of weakness, and then launching a coordinated attack. Wolves can cover large distances in search of food, and their hunting grounds can range over several square miles. Pack dynamics play a vital role in hunting. Each member has a role, whether it's to flank the prey, drive it toward an ambush, or chase it down. This teamwork increases their hunting success rate but also means that if a wolf pack is targeting your livestock, they can be highly efficient and dangerous. Seasonal behaviors and breeding. Wolves' behaviors change with the seasons. In the spring, during the breeding season, wolves tend to be more stationary as they care for their pups in a den. This period can offer some respite from predation. However, as the pups grow and the pack becomes more mobile, predation risk increases, especially in the late summer and fall when they start teaching the young to hunt. Understanding these aspects of wolf behavior allows you to predict their movements and better protect your farmland. In the next section, we'll explore the legal and ethical considerations of managing wolves, ensuring that your methods are both effective and humane. Physical barriers and fencing solutions. One of the most effective methods for keeping wolves away from your farmland is the implementation of physical barriers and fencing solutions. These measures can create a significant deterrent to wolves, preventing them from accessing your livestock and crops. Let's delve into various types of fencing and barrier solutions that you can use to protect your property. Standard livestock fencing. Standard livestock fencing is the most basic type of barrier that can help to keep wolves away. This includes barbed wire fencing. Barbed wire fencing is inexpensive and relatively easy to install. However, wolves are clever and agile, capable of jumping over or crawling under poorly constructed fences. Electric fencing. Electric fences provide a more reliable deterrent. Wolves are sensitive to the electric shock, which conditions them to avoid the fenced area. It's important to ensure that the electric fence is well maintained and the voltage is sufficient to deter wolves. High-tensile wire fencing. High-tensile wire fences are more durable and resistant to weather conditions. They can be electrified for added protection. These fences need to be at least 6 feet high to effectively keep wolves out. Fladry and turbo fladry. Fladry is a traditional method that involves hanging strips of brightly colored cloth or plastic along a fence line. Wolves are naturally wary of new and unusual objects, so the visual disturbance created by fladry can deter them from crossing into protected areas. Standard fladry. Standard fladry can be effective temporarily. It's best used in conjunction with other barriers. Turbo fladry. Turbo fladry combines the visual deterrent of fladry with the electric shock of an electric fence. This dual deterrent is significantly more effective than either method alone. Permanent and semi-permanent fencing solutions. For a more long-term solution, consider investing in more robust fencing options. Chain link fencing. Chain link fences are sturdy and can be built to significant heights. Adding a lean-in or an overhang to the top of the fence can prevent wolves from climbing over. Woven wire fencing. This type of fencing is strong and flexible, making it difficult for wolves to break through. Ensure that the bottom of the fence is securely attached to the ground or buried to prevent wolves from digging underneath. Solid wooden or metal fences. Solid fences made of wood or metal provide an excellent physical barrier. These fences should be high and extend below ground level to deter digging. Additional deterrents. In addition to physical barriers, there are other deterrent methods you can incorporate. Guard animals. Animals like livestock guardian dogs, donkeys, or llamas can protect your livestock. These animals are instinctively protective and can ward off wolves. Visual and auditory deterrents. Devices such as motion-activated lights, sirens, or propane cannons can scare wolves away. However, wolves may become habituated to these over time, so it's best to use them intermittently. Maintenance and upkeep. Regular maintenance is crucial to ensure the effectiveness of your fencing solutions. Check for and repair any damage promptly, as wolves are quick to exploit weaknesses in barriers. Ensure that electric fences are consistently powered and functioning correctly. Combining methods for maximum effectiveness. For the best results, combine multiple deterrent methods. Use high-tensile electric fencing with fladry, and consider employing guard animals to patrol the perimeter. The combination of visual, physical, and psychological deterrents will create a robust defense system against wolf predation. By implementing these physical barriers and fencing solutions, you can create a formidable defense against wolves, ensuring the safety of your livestock and the productivity of your farmland. In the next section, we'll discuss non-lethal deterrents and other strategies to further protect your property. Guard animals, nature's protectors. Guard animals have been used for centuries to protect livestock from predators. These natural protectors can be incredibly effective at deterring wolves and other threats from your farmland. Let's explore some of the most popular and effective guard animals you can use to safeguard your livestock. Livestock Guardian Dogs, LGDs. Livestock guardian dogs are specially bred and trained to protect livestock from predators. Some of the most popular LGD breeds include Great Pyrenees, Anatolian Shepherds, and Maremma sheepdogs. Here's why they are effective. Instinctive protection. LGDs have strong protective instincts. They bond with the livestock they are raised with and will aggressively defend them against any perceived threat. Deterrence. The presence of LGDs can be enough to deter wolves from approaching. Wolves tend to avoid areas where large, protective dogs are present. Patrolling. These dogs actively patrol the perimeter of the grazing area, marking their territory and creating a physical presence that discourages predators. Donkeys. Donkeys are another excellent option for protecting livestock from wolves. They are naturally aggressive towards canines and will not hesitate to confront a wolf. Aggressive behavior. Donkeys have a strong natural aversion to canines. They will bray loudly to alert the farmer and charge at wolves, kicking and biting to drive them away. Integration with livestock. Donkeys can live comfortably with sheep, goats, and other livestock, providing constant protection. Minimal training required. Unlike LGDs, donkeys require little to no training to be effective guards. Llamas and alpacas. Llamas and alpacas can also serve as guard animals, particularly for smaller livestock like sheep and goats. Their size and aggressive behavior towards intruders make them effective deterrents. Vigilance. Llamas and alpacas are naturally vigilant and will alert to any unusual activity. They have excellent eyesight and can see predators from a distance. Physical defense. They will chase and try to trample intruders. Their loud alarm calls can also scare away predators and alert humans. Compatibility. These animals can be easily integrated into herds of sheep or goats without much disruption. Benefits of using guard animals. Using guard animals to protect your livestock offers several benefits. Non-lethal deterrence. Guard animals provide a non-lethal method of predator control, which can be more acceptable to the public and regulatory bodies. Continuous protection. Guard animals provide 24/7 protection, unlike some other methods that may only work intermittently. Cost-effective. After the initial investment in purchasing and possibly training the animals, the ongoing costs are relatively low compared to other deterrent methods. Dual purpose. Many guard animals, such as donkeys and llamas, can also serve other roles on the farm, such as pack animals or wool producers. Considerations for using guard animals. While guard animals can be highly effective, there are some considerations to keep in mind. Training and socialization. Some animals, particularly LGDs, require proper training and socialization to be effective. They need to be bonded with the livestock they are meant to protect. Veterinary care. Regular veterinary care is essential to keep guard animals healthy and effective in their roles. Behavior management. Some guard animals, like LGDs, can be an excellent physical barrier. These fences should be high and extend below ground level to deter digging. Additional deterrents. In addition to physical barriers, there are other deterrent methods you can incorporate. Guard animals. Animals like livestock guardian dogs, donkeys, or llamas can protect your livestock. These animals are instinctively protective and can ward off wolves. Visual and auditory deterrents. Devices such as motion-activated lights, sirens, or propane cannons can scare wolves away. However, wolves may become habituated to these over time, so it's best to use them intermittently. Maintenance and upkeep. Regular maintenance is crucial to ensure the effectiveness of your fencing solutions. Check for and repair any damage promptly, as wolves are quick to exploit weaknesses in barriers. Ensure that electric fences are consistently powered and functioning correctly. Combining methods for maximum effectiveness. For the best results, combine multiple deterrent methods. Use high-tensile electric fencing with flattery, and consider employing guard animals to patrol the perimeter. The combination of visual, physical, and psychological deterrence will create a robust defense system against wolf predation. By implementing these physical barriers and fencing solutions, you can create a formidable defense against wolves, ensuring the safety of your livestock and the productivity of your farmland. In the next section, we'll discuss non-lethal deterrence and other strategies to further protect your property. Guard animals, nature's protectors. Guard animals have been used for centuries to protect livestock from predators. These natural protectors can be incredibly effective at deterring wolves and other threats from your farmland. Let's explore some of the most popular and effective guard animals you can use to safeguard your livestock. Livestock Guardian Dogs, LGDs. Livestock guardian dogs are specially bred and trained to protect livestock from predators. Some of the most popular LGD breeds include Great Pyrenees, Anatolian Shepherds, and Maremma sheepdogs. Here's why they are effective. Instinctive protection. LGDs have strong protective instincts. They bond with the livestock they are raised with and will aggressively defend them against any perceived threat. Deterrence. The presence of LGDs can be enough to deter wolves from approaching. Wolves tend to avoid areas where large, protective dogs are present. Patrolling. These dogs actively patrol the perimeter of the grazing area, marking their territory and creating a physical presence that discourages predators. Donkeys. Donkeys are another excellent option for protecting livestock from wolves. They are naturally aggressive towards canines and will not hesitate to confront a wolf. Aggressive behavior. Donkeys have a strong natural aversion to canines. They will bray loudly to alert the farmer and charge at wolves, kicking and biting to drive them away. Integration with livestock. Donkeys can live comfortably with sheep, goats, and other livestock, providing constant protection. Minimal training required. Unlike LGDs, donkeys require little to no training to be effective guards. Llamas and alpacas. Llamas and alpacas can also serve as guard animals, particularly for smaller livestock like sheep and goats. Their size and aggressive behavior towards intruders make them effective deterrents. Vigilance. Llamas and alpacas are naturally vigilant and will alert to any unusual activity. They have excellent eyesight and can see predators from a distance. Physical defense. They will chase and try to trample intruders. Their loud alarm calls can also scare away predators and alert humans. Compatibility. These animals can be easily integrated into herds of sheep or goats without much disruption. Benefits of using guard animals. Using guard animals to protect your livestock offers several benefits. Non-lethal deterrence. Guard animals provide a non-lethal method of predator control, which can be more acceptable to the public and regulatory bodies. Continuous protection. Guard animals provide 24/7 protection, unlike some other methods that may only work intermittently. Cost-effective. After the initial investment in purchasing and possibly training the animals, the ongoing costs are relatively low compared to other deterrent methods. Dual purpose. Many guard animals, such as donkeys and llamas, can also serve other roles on the farm, such as pack animals or wool producers. Considerations for using guard animals. While guard animals can be highly effective, there are some considerations to keep in mind. Training and socialization. Some animals, particularly LGDs, require proper training and socialization to be effective. They need to be bonded with the livestock they are meant to protect. Veterinary care. Regular veterinary care is essential to keep guard animals healthy and effective in their roles. Behavior management. Some guard animals, like LGDs, can be. Continuous protection. When properly maintained, electronic deterrence can provide continuous, around-the-clock protection for livestock. Customizable. Various types and combinations of devices allow for customization based on specific needs and predator threats. Challenges and considerations. Cost. Initial setup and maintenance costs can be high, depending on the number and type of devices used. Power source. Many devices require a reliable power source, which can be challenging in remote areas. Effectiveness over time. Predators can become accustomed to certain deterrents, reducing their effectiveness over time. Conclusion. Electronic deterrents and alarms offer a modern, effective solution for protecting livestock from predators. By carefully selecting, placing, and maintaining these devices, farmers and livestock owners can significantly reduce the risk of predation and ensure the safety and well-being of their animals. Combining these technologies with other management practices can create a comprehensive and resilient defense system against predators. Scare tactics and psychological deterrence. Scare tactics and psychological deterrence are methods used to deter predators like wolves by exploiting their natural instincts and fear responses. These techniques leverage various stimuli to create an environment that is hostile or threatening to predators, thus discouraging them from preying on livestock. Let's delve into some of the most effective scare tactics and psychological deterrence used in wolf deterrence. Types of scare tactics and psychological deterrence. 1. Predator calls. Predator calls mimic the sounds of other predators or distress calls of prey animals. These calls trigger a predator's natural instinct to avoid competition or investigate potential danger, leading them to steer clear of the area. Advantages. Mimics natural predator-prey interactions, which can be highly effective. Can be deployed remotely using electronic devices or manually by farm personnel. Disadvantages. Effectiveness may decrease over time if predators become habituated to the calls. Requires regular variation in sound patterns to prevent habituation. 2. Visual stimuli. Visual stimuli, such as scarecrows, predator silhouettes, or reflective materials, create the illusion of a human presence or other threats in the area. Wolves, being intelligent and cautious animals, are likely to avoid areas where they perceive potential danger. Advantages. Provides a visible deterrent that can be easily deployed and adjusted. Can be combined with other scare tactics for increased effectiveness. Disadvantages. Effectiveness may diminish if predators realize the stimuli pose no actual threat. Requires regular movement or adjustment to prevent habituation. 3. Scent repellents. Scent repellents utilize strong odors or pheromones to create an environment that predators find unpleasant or threatening. Common scents used include predator urine, ammonia, or other chemical deterrents. Advantages. Capitalizes on a wolf's keen sense of smell, which is highly sensitive. Can be applied to specific areas or objects to create a barrier of scent. Disadvantages. Effectiveness may vary depending on environmental factors like wind direction and rain. Requires regular reapplication to maintain potency. 4. Behavioral conditioning. Behavioral conditioning involves creating negative associations with livestock by pairing their presence with unpleasant experiences for predators. This can include using noisemakers, lights, or other deterrents whenever wolves approach livestock. Advantages. Capitalizes on the predator's ability to learn and adapt to their environment. Can be highly effective when consistently applied over time. Disadvantages. Requires careful timing and coordination to ensure effective conditioning. May take time to see results, as predators need to learn the association between livestock and negative experiences. Implementation tips. Rotation and variation. Rotate and vary scare tactics and psychological deterrence regularly to prevent habituation. Predators are more likely to avoid areas where the threat level is unpredictable. Integration with other methods. Combine scare tactics with physical barriers, guard animals, and other predator management strategies for a comprehensive approach to deterrence. Monitoring and evaluation. Regularly monitor the effectiveness of scare tactics and adjust as needed based on predator behavior and livestock predation patterns. Community collaboration. Collaborate with neighboring farms and wildlife management authorities to implement coordinated scare tactics across a larger area, maximizing effectiveness. Advantages of scare tactics and psychological deterrence. Non-lethal. Scare tactics and psychological deterrence provide a non-lethal method of predator control, minimizing harm to both predators and livestock. Cost-effective. Many scare tactics can be implemented using inexpensive materials or existing farm infrastructure. Customizable. Scare tactics can be tailored to specific predator species and local environmental conditions for optimal effectiveness. Challenges and considerations. Habituation. Predators may become accustomed to scare tactics over time, reducing their effectiveness. Environmental factors, weather conditions, terrain, and habitat features can influence the effectiveness of scare tactics and psychological deterrence. Ethical considerations. Some scare tactics, such as predator calls or scent repellents, may raise ethical concerns regarding animal welfare and conservation. Scare tactics and psychological deterrence are valuable tools in the farmer's arsenal for protecting livestock from predators like wolves. By leveraging a combination of auditory, visual, olfactory, and behavioral stimuli, farmers can create an environment that is unwelcoming to predators, reducing the risk of livestock predation. When implemented thoughtfully and in conjunction with other predator management strategies, scare tactics can help foster coexistence between farmers and wildlife while safeguarding the livelihoods of livestock producers. Habitat management and modification. Habitat management and modification involve altering the landscape and ecosystem in ways that discourage predator activity and promote the safety of livestock. By understanding the natural habitat preferences and behaviors of predators like wolves, farmers can implement targeted strategies to minimize the risk of predation. Let's explore some effective habitat management and modification techniques for mitigating wolf predation on livestock. Types of habitat management and modification. 1. Livestock grazing patterns. Adjusting livestock grazing patterns can help reduce their vulnerability to predation. By rotating pastures and avoiding areas with dense cover or high predator activity, farmers can minimize the likelihood of encounters between livestock and wolves. Advantages. Reduces the likelihood of predation by limiting livestock exposure to potential threats. Promotes healthier forage growth and soil health through rotational grazing practices. Disadvantages. Requires careful planning and monitoring to ensure effective implementation. May necessitate additional infrastructure such as fencing or watering facilities. 2. Habitat enhancement. Enhancing habitat features that deter predators and provide refuge for livestock can help create a more secure environment. This may include planting dense vegetation barriers, creating artificial shelters, or installing structures that discourage predator access. Advantages. Provides natural refuge and hiding places for livestock during predator encounters. Creates physical barriers that impede predator movement and access to vulnerable areas. Disadvantages. Requires ongoing maintenance to prevent vegetation overgrowth or deterioration of structures. May require initial investment in materials and labor for habitat enhancement projects. 3. Predator exclusion zones. Designating predator exclusion zones within grazing areas can help concentrate livestock in areas less susceptible to predation. These zones may be surrounded by physical barriers like fencing or natural features that deter predator movement. Advantages. Concentrates livestock in areas with reduced predation risk, enhancing overall herd safety. Allows for targeted predator management efforts within designated exclusion zones. Disadvantages. Requires investment in fencing or other barriers to create and maintain exclusion zones. May limit livestock mobility and access to grazing resources if not carefully planned. 4. Water management. Strategic water management can influence predator behavior and movement patterns. Providing alternative water sources away from areas frequented by predators can help minimize interactions between wolves and livestock. Advantages. Reduces the likelihood of predator-livestock conflicts near water sources. Encourages predators to seek alternative habitats and reduces their presence in grazing areas. Disadvantages. Requires careful consideration of water availability and distribution across grazing lands. May necessitate additional infrastructure for water delivery and management. Implementation tips. 1. Site assessment. Conduct a thorough assessment of the landscape and habitat characteristics to identify areas of high predator activity and vulnerability. 2. Tailored solutions. Develop habitat management and modification strategies that are tailored to the specific needs and challenges of your farm operation and local predator population. 3. Collaboration. Collaborate with wildlife biologists, conservation organizations, and other stakeholders to design and implement effective habitat management practices that benefit both livestock and native wildlife. 4. Monitoring and adaptation. Regularly monitor predator activity, livestock behavior, and habitat conditions to evaluate the effectiveness of management efforts and make adjustments as needed. Advantages of habitat management and modification. Long-term sustainability. Habitat management practices promote ecological resilience and biodiversity while safeguarding livestock from predation. Natural solutions. Many habitat modification techniques leverage natural features and processes to deter predators, minimizing the need for costly infrastructure or chemical interventions. Enhanced landscape functionality. Effective habitat management enhances the functionality of grazing lands, improving soil health, water quality, and overall ecosystem resilience. Challenges and considerations. Balancing conservation and livestock production. Implementing habitat management strategies requires careful consideration of competing interests and objectives, including conservation goals and agricultural productivity. Resource constraints. Limited resources, including time, labor, and funding, may pose challenges to the implementation and maintenance of habitat management practices. Adaptation to changing conditions. Environmental factors, such as climate change and habitat degradation, may necessitate ongoing adaptation of habitat management strategies to remain effective over time. Habitat management and modification offer proactive approaches to mitigating wolf predation on livestock while promoting sustainable land use and conservation. By implementing targeted strategies that enhance habitat features, manage grazing patterns, and minimize predator-livestock conflicts, farmers can foster coexistence between livestock production and native wildlife populations. Through collaboration, innovation, and adaptive management, habitat management practices can contribute to the long-term resilience and viability of both agricultural landscapes and wildlife habitats. Community strategies and collaboration involve engaging with neighboring farms, conservation organizations, and local stakeholders to develop collective approaches to mitigating wolf predation on livestock. By pooling resources, sharing knowledge, and coordinating efforts, communities can address predation challenges more effectively and promote coexistence between farmers and wildlife. Let's explore some key community strategies and collaboration initiatives for managing wolf predation. Types of community strategies and collaboration. 1. Information sharing and education. Fostering communication and knowledge exchange among farmers, wildlife experts, and community members is essential for building awareness and understanding of wolf behavior and management strategies. Educational workshops, field demonstrations, and outreach programs can empower farmers with the information and resources needed to implement effective predator deterrence. Advantages. Promotes a shared understanding of predator-livestock conflicts and potential solutions within the community. Empowers farmers with the knowledge and skills to implement best practices for predator management. Disadvantages. Requires ongoing commitment to education and outreach efforts to maintain community engagement. May encounter resistance or skepticism from stakeholders with differing perspectives or priorities. 2. Collaborative monitoring and research. Engaging in collaborative monitoring and research initiatives allows communities to gather data on predator movements, livestock depredation patterns, and habitat use. By collecting and analyzing this information collectively, stakeholders can identify trends, assess management impacts, and inform evidence-based decision-making. Advantages. Generates valuable scientific data and insights into predator behavior and population dynamics. Facilitates informed management decisions and adaptive strategies based on empirical evidence. Disadvantages. Requires coordination and cooperation among multiple stakeholders to standardize monitoring protocols and data collection methods. May encounter logistical challenges, such as securing funding and resources for research initiatives. 3. Predator management cooperatives. Establishing predator management cooperatives enables farmers to pool resources and expertise to implement predator deterrence at a broader scale. These cooperatives may coordinate activities such as predator control efforts, habitat enhancement projects, and livestock husbandry practices to reduce predation risk and promote coexistence. Advantages. Maximizes the efficiency and effectiveness of predator management efforts through collective action. Provides mutual support and solidarity among farmers facing similar predation challenges. Disadvantages. Requires strong leadership, governance structures, and clear communication channels to facilitate cooperative decision-making. May encounter legal and regulatory barriers related to wildlife management and land use policies. 4. Policy advocacy and engagement. Engaging in policy advocacy and outreach initiatives allows communities to influence decision-makers and shape policies related to predator management, compensation programs, and conservation efforts. By advocating for policies that balance the needs of farmers with wildlife conservation goals, communities can create more supportive regulatory frameworks. Advantages. Amplifies the voices of farmers and rural communities in policy discussions and decision-making processes. Promotes policies that reflect the diverse perspectives and interests of stakeholders involved in predator management. Disadvantages. Requires sustained advocacy efforts and coalition building to effect meaningful policy change. May encounter resistance or opposition from stakeholders with conflicting interests or priorities. Implementation tips. 1. Stakeholder engagement. Involve a diverse range of stakeholders, including farmers, conservationists, researchers, government agencies, and indigenous communities, in collaborative initiatives to ensure inclusivity in diverse perspectives. 2. Conflict resolution. Facilitate constructive dialogue and conflict resolution mechanisms to address differences of opinion and resolve disputes arising from predator livestock conflicts. 3. Capacity building. Invest in capacity building initiatives to empower farmers with the knowledge, skills, and resources needed to implement effective predator management strategies independently. 4. Adaptive management. Adopt an adaptive management approach that allows for flexibility, learning, and adjustment based on feedback, monitoring data, and changing environmental conditions. Advantages of community strategies and collaboration. Collective action. Community collaboration enables stakeholders to address predation challenges collectively, leveraging collective resources and expertise for greater impact. Shared responsibility. By sharing responsibility for predator management, communities foster a sense of ownership and mutual support among farmers and other stakeholders. Social cohesion. Collaborative initiatives promote social cohesion and solidarity within communities, strengthening bonds and fostering resilience in the face of shared challenges. Challenges and considerations. Differing perspectives. Communities may encompass diverse stakeholders with differing perspectives, values, and priorities, requiring careful negotiation and consensus building. Resource constraints. Limited funding, time, and human resources may pose challenges to the implementation and sustainability of community-based initiatives. Power dynamics. Power imbalances and inequalities among stakeholders can influence decision-making processes and outcomes, requiring attention to issues of equity and inclusivity. Community strategies and collaboration play a vital role in addressing wolf predation on livestock by fostering cooperation, sharing knowledge, and mobilizing collective action. By working together, communities can develop holistic, science-based approaches to predator management that balance the needs of farmers with wildlife conservation goals. Through ongoing engagement, capacity building, and adaptive management, communities can build resilience, promote coexistence, and sustain rural livelihoods in landscapes shared with wolves and other predators. Monitoring and maintenance. ChatGPT. Monitoring and maintenance. Monitoring and maintenance are essential components of effective predator management strategies, ensuring that deterrent measures remain functional, responsive, and aligned with changing environmental conditions. By implementing robust monitoring protocols and conducting regular maintenance activities, farmers can assess the effectiveness of predator deterrence, identify potential issues, and make timely adjustments to minimize predation risk. Let's delve into the importance of monitoring and maintenance in wolf predation management. Importance of monitoring. 1. Assessing effectiveness. Regular monitoring allows farmers to evaluate the effectiveness of predator deterrent measures in deterring wolf predation on livestock. By tracking predation incidents, livestock behavior, and predator activity, farmers can determine whether existing strategies are achieving desired outcomes or require modification. 2. Identifying trends and patterns. Monitoring data provides valuable insights into trends and patterns of predator behavior, including seasonal variations, habitat preferences, and prey selection. By analyzing these patterns, farmers can anticipate potential predation risks and tailor management strategies accordingly. 3. Informing adaptive management. Monitoring enables adaptive management by providing real-time feedback on the performance of predator deterrence. By identifying areas of success and areas for improvement, farmers can adjust management practices, implement new strategies, and refine existing measures to optimize effectiveness. Components of monitoring. 1. Predation incident reporting. Establishing a system for reporting and documenting. Predation incidents allows farmers to track the frequency, location, and circumstances of livestock losses. This information serves as the basis for assessing predation risk and evaluating the impact of predator management efforts. 2. Surveillance and observation. Regular surveillance and observation of livestock and predator activity in grazing areas provide valuable first-hand insights into predator behavior and interactions. Farmers can use tools such as trail cameras, livestock guardians, and visual observation to monitor activity patterns and identify potential threats. 3. Track and scat surveys. Conducting track and scat surveys enables farmers to identify the presence and abundance of predators in the vicinity of grazing areas. By documenting tracks, scat, and other signs of predator presence, farmers can assess population density, movement patterns, and habitat use. Importance of maintenance. 1. Ensuring functionality. Regular maintenance of predator deterrent measures, such as fencing, lighting, and sound devices, ensures that these tools remain functional and effective in deterring predators. Inspecting and repairing damaged or malfunctioning equipment helps maintain a secure perimeter and minimize opportunities for predator access. 2. Preventing deterioration. Over time, natural wear and tear, environmental factors, and wildlife activity can cause deterioration of predator deterrence, compromising their efficacy. Routine maintenance activities, such as repairing fencing, replacing batteries, and clearing vegetation, help prevent deterioration and ensure continued effectiveness. 3. Addressing vulnerabilities. Monitoring and maintenance efforts help identify vulnerabilities in predator deterrent measures and address them proactively. By addressing weak points in fencing, reinforcing deterrence, and implementing additional security measures, farmers can minimize the risk of predator intrusion and protect livestock more effectively. Components of maintenance. 1. Regular inspections. Conducting regular inspections of predator deterrence allows farmers to identify issues such as damage, wear, or degradation that may compromise effectiveness. Inspections should include visual assessments, structural evaluations, and functional tests of equipment. 2. Scheduled repairs and upkeep. Implementing a schedule for routine repairs and upkeep ensures that maintenance tasks are performed consistently and promptly. This may include repairing damaged fencing, replacing worn components, and conducting preventive maintenance on electronic deterrents. 3. Vegetation management. Managing vegetation around fencing and deterrent devices is essential for maintaining clear sight lines, preventing vegetation encroachment, and minimizing opportunities for predator concealment. Regular vegetation clearing and trimming help ensure optimal visibility and functionality of predator deterrence. Monitoring and maintenance are critical components of effective wolf predation management, providing farmers with the tools and insights needed to protect livestock and promote coexistence with native wildlife populations. By implementing rigorous monitoring protocols and conducting regular maintenance activities, farmers can enhance the resilience and sustainability of their operations in landscapes shared with predators like wolves. Through proactive monitoring and diligent maintenance efforts, farmers can mitigate predation risk and safeguard the well-being of their livestock. Integrating technology and innovation. Integrating technology and innovation into predator management practices can significantly enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of deterrent measures, offering farmers advanced tools and strategies to mitigate wolf predation on livestock. By harnessing cutting-edge technologies and innovative solutions, farmers can augment traditional management approaches and achieve greater success in protecting their livestock. Let's explore the importance of integrating technology and innovation in wolf predation management. Advantages of technology integration. 1. Enhanced monitoring capabilities. Technology allows for the implementation of advanced monitoring systems, such as GPS tracking, remote cameras, and drone surveillance, enabling farmers to monitor livestock and predator activity across large grazing areas with greater precision and accuracy. 2. Real-time data analysis. Advanced analytics software and data processing algorithms enable real-time analysis of monitoring data, allowing farmers to identify patterns, trends, and anomalies in predator behavior quickly. This timely insight facilitates proactive decision-making and adaptive management strategies. 3. Automated deterrent systems. Automation technologies, such as electric fencing with remote activation and motion-activated deterrent devices, provide automated responses to predator presence, effectively deterring wolves while minimizing labor requirements and operational cost. Innovative solutions for predator deterrence. 1. Electronic deterrence. Innovative electronic deterrents, such as sound emitters, strobe lights, and ultrasonic devices, utilize advanced technology to create aversive stimuli that deter predators without causing harm to livestock or wildlife. 2. Smart fencing systems. Smart fencing systems equipped with sensors, alarms, and electrified strands can detect and respond to predator intrusion in real time, effectively preventing unauthorized access to livestock enclosures and grazing areas. 3. GPS tracking and geofencing. GPS tracking collars and geofencing technology allow farmers to monitor the movements of livestock and predators, create virtual boundaries, and receive alerts when animals stray or predators approach restricted areas. Implementation strategies. 1. Pilot projects and field trials. Conducting pilot projects and field trials allows farmers to test and evaluate the effectiveness of new technologies and innovative solutions in real-world settings before full-scale implementation. 2. Collaboration with technology providers. Collaborating with technology providers, research institutions, and government agencies facilitates access to cutting-edge tools, expertise, and resources needed to develop and deploy innovative predator management solutions. 3. Continuous improvement and adaptation. Embracing a culture of continuous improvement and adaptation enables farmers to refine and optimize technology-enabled predator management strategies based on feedback, lessons learned, and emerging technological advancements. Integrating technology and innovation into predator management practices offers farmers powerful tools and strategies to enhance the effectiveness, efficiency, and sustainability of livestock protection efforts. By leveraging advanced monitoring systems, automated deterrents, and innovative solutions, farmers can mitigate predation risk, minimize losses, and promote coexistence with native wildlife populations. Through strategic collaboration, pilot projects, and a commitment to continuous improvement, farmers can harness the full potential of technology to safeguard their livelihoods and preserve biodiversity in landscapes shared with predators like wolves.